G'day viewers, and welcome to another Phil and Jen in the Philippines. The subject of the video today is, I suppose, making, not excuses, but giving you some reasons as to why expats choose to come to the Philippines or choose to be involved with relationships overseas. And I know I'm preaching to the converted, but there's this video might get to a number of people that are curious. So I'm going to give you what I think is the reasons we as expats decide to pursue this lifestyle. And the way I'm going to do it, simply because you don't have to stare at my ugly mug, my stepson's birthday was yesterday, but he was at school and it's Saturday over here at the moment. So what we decided to do was go to a place called Alto, which is just down the road, and I'll show you how close it is, to have a day out with the family and celebrate his 13th birthday. So you'll get to see the family. The visuals you'll see is just them having a good time, and then I'll give my commentary as to the subject that we're talking about, which is why expats decide to take the leap and come to a place like the Philippines. Just before I start this journey, and you'll be with me all the way up and you'll see how close it is, subscribe. I really am tickled pink about the amount of subscriptions I've got. I've got 94. I need 4 more to crack the ton. So you guys, come on out there if you're reading it, even if you don't watch me, press the button, see if you can be the first ones for me to hit the ton. It might be interesting, I hope it is. Okay, we've just arrived at Alto. It's elevated above our property. It's about a kilometre away, I suppose, and it is actually a resort come housing project. Of course, like everywhere, we have security. Hello. And then we go up into the manicured area reception. You'll notice through this, it's a nice, good morning. Hold on.
Inform lang po ma'am na naang event niya po sa pool at 4. But okay lang. It's okay, 4 p.m. Okay. But okay lang po stay.
Okay, the lady's basically explaining that the pool closes at 4 p.m. Okay, so then we go down into the particular area. For some reason, they built a lighthouse on obviously to warn ships, but this is on a headland probably 15 kilometres or 10 kilometres from the coast, but it is in a very high point. So you look around and it's obviously designed to say that early shipping is about to run into a country, I suppose. But as you can see, the gardens are immaculate. It's a very, very nice place and not expensive. 2 adults and 2 children work out at around about 800 pesos, which is what, $20, and that gives us the facilities here, the barbecue area, if you wish to barbecue, and a swimming pool. And of course, as you can see, Jen is madly taking film. Asians in particular love the camera, as most of you know. So as we proceed down the manicured paths, yeah, we can do that. Yet another house. This is Aquatica, which is obviously a very fancy name for a swimming pool. And I'll go up and just take a photo of that, and there we go. Situation is, it's a beautiful, beautiful area, and we have it all to ourselves at this particular point in time.
They're swimming now.
Okay, there's my step-granddaughter, and her name is Isabella, but we all call her Bella. And of course the ruler of the household struts on ahead. So as you can see, we downed tools and decided to cool off in the pool. My stepson's joined us. He actually rode up on the push bike while we came up on the scooter. And this is obviously an infinity pool. You'll notice that the area is elevated, and we can see down towards Debunking in the in the distance. It probably doesn't pick up on camera, but anyway, back to the subject and that it is at hand. I'll back up so it looks reasonable. I'll sit in the shade because it's very hot under the sun here. Why do expats, in my opinion, decide to pursue relationships overseas? The first thing I wanted to dispel is this situation. I've spoken about it briefly, but I thought I had a number of comments about it, that the consensus of opinion is that the majority of people that travel to Asia and live in Asia are nothing more than sex pests. This couldn't be further from the truth. Yes, we do have the sex tourist that comes from Western countries to places like the Philippines and Thailand. And I have no doubt that some sex pests have made their homes here in the Philippines. But on the whole, what people have to understand is it's not cheap to do this, to uproot from your country and come to a place like the Philippines. It takes a bit of money and it takes a hell of a lot of effort. So the mere fact that the simplification of, oh yeah, they go there because the women are easy and they're taking advantage, which is so insulting, not only to the expats that decide to take the leap, but also to the people that they have relationships with. It is downright insulting. And I think in relation to the Philippines, it's probably because on viewing a Filipino, they're tiny little people. The average height's about 5'2", and they range between 4'8" and 5'2" on the whole. And they're pretty little girls and pretty women, pretty ladies, and they're relatively quiet in their demeanour when they meet people. So people assume that they're quiet little timid creatures. Well, let me tell you, they're not. They're powerful women. They know exactly what they want, and they will not let Westerners dominate them for any time that they're entering into this relationship. As I was saying, just changing angles to give you something else to look at. These women that are often blamed for situations like being gold diggers and ridiculous things like that, and nine out of 10 people that fail over here have a tendency to blame Filipinas for the relationship failing. But if you analyse it and you look at it realistically from both sides, 9 times out of 10 that I have found that the expat hasn't fulfilled what he's promised in the courting phase to the Filipino. He's exaggerated his financial capacity. He's done 1,000,001 things wrong from day one. And what happens is the money runs out. He still considers carrying on like he's lord of the manor. And the Filipinos just don't put up with it. They eventually go. They leave, and of course the expat or the tourist that have blown all their dough don't even look at the fact that what at one stage of the game they promised these people they never fulfilled. And like every relationship, if you make promises and you can't keep them, the relationships usually break up. Okay, what we've just been informed, even though this is a beautiful place, we can't eat food that we've bought. It's got to be purchased on the premises. If you know anything about Filipinos, whenever we go out, there is this myriad of food that's prepared simply to have, they take everything along from plates and knives and forks and pots and food that has been prepared. Well, this is a little bit upscale, this place, so they won't allow that because there's a restaurant here. So what we're going to do is we're going to move camp and go up to a place called Forest Camp, which has been featured on a lot of expat vlogs, but you know, we'll go up there and continue that after the kids have had a swim. Now, getting back to why the subject of the video, and please hang around because you know this is a little bit controversial, but this is the way I look at it, and the reasons that people having relationships overseas is obviously such a threat to women and guys in the West. I think we'll start with the guys. I think a lot of the guys that knock people entering into this lifestyle, and it's very easy to say they're jealous, but to a certain degree they are. We have the freedom to be able to do it ourselves, go and have these relationships and enjoy the company of a younger lady, and really the only way you can describe it, pisses a lot of guys off that they are trapped in the status quo situation. But the situation is, I think Asian ladies to a certain degree are a major threat to what's going on in the West in regard to women. As I suppose an example to this is, and I can only tell you from my perspective, a lot of Filipino women are totally domesticated and are happy to be domesticated. Their greatest interest in life are their kids and their husbands, and they live their life accordingly. The number one priority in any household in Asia is the children, and they dote on them, they spoil them, they spend time with them, and it's the old formulation of probably 50 years ago in the West. They do have aspirations, but it does not go above and beyond looking after the kids and looking after the husbands. Where in the West, they seem to be in this endless struggle to prove that women are equal to men, and they are. I'm not suggesting they're not, and I'm going to be the first one to say I don't want to take away that equality. But women are women, and they're not men. You know, men have a role in society which is being eroded away. You know, the reality, if you look at the situation, men over the centuries have been designed only to do a very few things. That's to hunt, to eat, to sleep, to procreate, you know, to feed and protect. They're about the criteria that men for centuries have worked by. And now all of a sudden, women have got it in their heads in the West that this is somehow unfair, and they want a greater input into all those things. Well, good on them, but they can't have it all their own way. You know, Asian women, there's another one, enjoy, on the whole, sex. You know, it's totally different. You know, the women in the West that are so preoccupied with themselves and so-called bettering themselves, hand out sex to their husbands and their boyfriends after a period of time like it's the rations on a lifeboat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. You know, I don't know whether or not they think it's demeaning or I don't know. But it's becoming a problem. And to ignore that situation, remember one of the 4 or 5 things that men are programmed to do is procreate, and sex is involved with one of those things. And you know, it's just a fact of life. Now, if the women from the West don't want to be involved with that situation to any great degree, as ugly as we may become, you know, in our old age, we have a certain population on this planet that don't really care about the physical aspects of relationships, the beauty side of things of relationships. They are more in tune with what men can provide for them spiritually, emotionally, and whatever. You know, we in the West, we're so overcome by the physical beauty of youth, and God forbid anyone ever gets a wrinkle. Just take a look at yourselves, how much money you spend on products. And, you know, the thing is, women are only too happy to say, I don't do it for the men, I do it for myself. Well, you've got yourself to blame. You know, Asian women to Western men these days are a threat. You know, I'm not going to deny it, because they are providing a lifestyle, a natural capacity of which women in the West, on the whole, the complainers, the feminists, are not providing. Now, you can jump up and down all you want and say, you know, I'm a misogynist and whatever. So be it. I'm a man, and happy and proud to be a man. You know, and simply because it doesn't fall into your realm and moral high ground, I don't care. And, you know, for all you guys out there that know you're going to face this once you announce to the world, whether it be your kids, your adult kids, or your mates, that this is the way you're going to go, you know, stand up for yourselves. No one over here is doing, that I know of, apart from, you know, the pedophiles which are found all over the world, and the repugnant people that we have everywhere. No one over here is doing anything that God and nature didn't program into their system. Now, because a lot of the women in the West want to turn around and say, you know, we don't want to do that anymore, that's fine. Just don't stop us from doing it. We haven't got that much time on this planet. We've gotten to an age now where stuff you people. You know, what I do in my own time is my own business, and who I do it with is my own business. And stop taking the moral high ground, for God's sake. The appeal of Asian women is they take care of their men, they take care of their kids, they cook, they do all those things which you say, oh yes, it's like a slave. No, they do it because they want to. You know, I'm not forcing my wife. If you, and eventually we'll get used, you know, get to meet my wife. If my wife doesn't want to do something, she will not do it, and she will tell me. And she has been exposed to the West. She's lived overseas. She's worked in Dubai. She's worked in India. She's worked in you know, like places all over the Middle East. She's been to other Asian countries. She is an educated woman, but she is programmed as probably our mothers and fathers, our mothers were years ago, and she's happy to be there. She, you know, is not being forced to do anything. It's well known to her that if I don't toe the line, she's out the door, as with many of the women over here. So, you know, we have entered into an arrangement through marriage that I will do certain things and she will do certain things, and it's as uncomplicated as that. So that's the reasoning. I believe women or men, expats, come to Asia to seek what they're not getting in the West. And for God's sake, it's not just the bedroom. You know, it's being able to intermingle, have a relationship where you are not judged on everything you do, and it's a situation of, okay, if you are happy with your life and they are happy with you, being happy with your life. You don't have to strive for the general manager of so-and-so. You don't have to promise to get them a BMW. You don't have to do any of these things. You've got to keep a roof over their head. You've got to keep their kids in school, and you've got to keep food in their belly, and you've got to be polite, and you've got to be respectful, and that's all they ask. If you can't do these things, you know, it's not going to be the best for anyone concerned. But women of the West, take note. Now, you comment all you want, call me whatever you want, and if you are now women and whatever over there that is jumping up and down and holding your breath, take a good look at why. Because whatever I've said should not have affected you like it's affecting you. And for all you guys that are worried about the possibility that this is a hump you've got to overcome to make the decision to come to Asia and pursue this life, you know, like, you're not alone. You know, every guy out here has usually got kids at home or ex-wives or whatever. They've tried it, they don't like it, they've moved on. You're here once, you're here for a good time, not a long time. You know, take the plunge. You know, you're a long time dead. Anyway, that's the reason I think expats come to this country or come to Asian countries. That's why I think expats also pursue Asian ladies, because they are They are just, you know, a step back in time. I'll probably round this off. We're going down to Forest Camp, or maybe I'll make a second second vlog about the Forest Camp thing. I don't want this to run too long. But if I don't, I'll sign off now. It's Phil in the Philippines. I'm Phil and Jen in the Philippines. You know, they're my thoughts. Cheers for now. Remember, subscribe. Just push the button. I have to get to 100. It's driving me crazy. Cheers for now.